Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome to another video. In today's video, I want to talk to you about something that has really helped me improve my life. It has helped me solve a lot of problems in my life. It has given me peace of mind, cleared me of anxiety, and it is something that I think will help a lot of you out as well, especially considering all the drastic changes that have been happening in the world lately. And what that thing is extreme accountability. Now, what do I mean by extreme accountability? Extreme accountability is accountability to the point where you blame yourself for everything. And I know this might sound a little bit drastic, and I know a lot of people even tell me, hey, take it easy, don't be so hard on yourself. But I'll tell you right now that it wasn't until I switched my mindset from being the victim to being the person to blame for everything in my life that my life started to improve. I started to have more control of my situation and my outcome, and was able to actually solve problems that I was faced with. And when things didn't go the way that I wanted them to go, I would be able to fix them. And it's because when you are the victim, there's nothing you can do. Victims are subject to outside forces. And that's how a lot of people feel right now. A lot of people are losing their jobs right now. A lot of people are losing their income. A lot of people are subject to this entire frenzy that's happening in the world right now. And it's because of that a lot of people feel like they're the victim. However, being the victim is a choice, because you can play the victim card and you can feel sorry for yourself, or you can look at the situation and try and figure out what you did that was wrong that resulted in you ending up in that situation. Now, I know this might sound a little bit drastic, but the truth is that what's happening to you, that's not your problem. The problem is that you are either not prepared or you don't know what to do about it, and those are both things that are in your control. For example, a lot of people are losing their jobs right now. A lot of people are losing their income right now, and they feel like they are the victim to this illness that's going around in the world right now. But that's only one way of looking at it. What they could also look at is that they failed to prepare themselves in a scenario where they would lose their job. They failed to put themselves in a position within the company where the company cannot afford to lose them. Or they failed to learn skills that would give them the ability to create their own income and make their own salary, regardless of if their employer decided to employ them or not. And all of those three things are things that are in their control. And the problem that people are faced with right now from losing their job are those three problems. If they knew one of those three things, they wouldn't have a problem. So the problem isn't what's happening in the world right now. The problem is that people don't know how to deal with it. And how you deal with situations, that's in your control. For example, when I first started this whole journey of becoming a freelancer and then starting my own business and now having my entire business run online, there were a lot of times where I tried to rely on other people, I tried ideas, and they didn't work out, and I felt like the victim because things were out of my control and there's nothing I can do about it. For example, when I first wanted to learn online business, I had a lot of friends in the online business space. And I was a very creative person. I knew a lot about filmmaking and photography, but I saw that a lot of people were finding a lot of success in online business. And my thought process behind everything was, if I can create visually appealing photos and images and use that skill to create advertisements online, and then partner with someone who's really good at the back end stuff, as a team, we could work together and we would have a huge advantage over everyone else, because it's very hard to find, people or small businesses that are both extremely creative but also extremely skilled on the back end. So I tried partnering with people, and I tried this 2 or 3 different times, and all 3 times I would fulfill my part. I would create the ads, I would create the website, I would put everything together, and then when it came to actually doing the back end stuff, my partner or the person I chose to work with would not fulfill their part of the deal. And it was at that moment that I felt like the victim, right? I put in all this work, I tried everything I could, and this whole idea failed because my partner or this person I was working with didn't fulfill their part of the deal, and I was the victim. Now, it wasn't until I changed my mindset from being the victim to looking at this like it was my fault. And once I looked at this whole situation like it was my fault, I realized like, hey, I shouldn't have relied on this person. I shouldn't have put all my trust into this person to the point where if they don't fulfill their part, I'm completely screwed. I should have a backup plan. I should have either learned how to do it myself. I should be paying them or giving them some type of incentive so that they have no choice but to fulfill their part of the deal. And it wasn't until I learned this that I realized that, okay, I was doing something wrong. And then I decided, hey, if I really want to make this happen, I need to learn how to do this myself. Because if I learn how to do this myself, I have nobody to rely on except myself. And then if anything goes wrong, it's my fault. And once I started looking at things that way and started realizing that all the problems I was facing were problems due to me making bad choices, that's when things started to go better in my life. And that's when I started to figure out solutions to all the problems in my life. And that's when I actually started feeling like I was making decent progress in my life. And the point I'm trying to make here is that when you play the victim, you are putting yourself in a powerless position. And being powerless causes anxiety, it causes stress, and it causes a host of other problems that you can't fix because you're powerless. However, when you start to relentlessly blame yourself for everything that happens, you're in a position of power to where you can either fix it, and at the bare minimum, you can learn from it. And you'll see that people who try and blame other people for their problems and people who try and play the victim all the time, they never change because they can never learn from their mistakes, and they can never even do anything to change because they feel like nothing is their fault and they are the victim. And you'll meet a lot of people like this in your life. I know a lot of people like this that, do something wrong and then they play the victim and they say that they're going to change, but deep down they really feel like they are the victim, and it's this self-destructive pattern because they want to change, but they can't change because they feel like they are the victim, and because of that, they don't feel like they are doing anything wrong. And in order for you to change, you need to feel like you've actually done something wrong. You need to learn from your mistakes. And in order to do that, you need to blame yourself for what's happening. And I know a lot of people might think this is too harsh. And people tell me all the time, hey, Julian, take it easy. Don't be so hard on yourself. The thing is I'm not most people. And most people play the victim. Most people take it easy. But I don't want to be like most people. So if you want to be different, if you actually want to make more progress than most people, and if you actually want to escape this entire frenzy that's happening right now, because most people are panicking right now. Most people don't know what to do. It's not very normal for someone to be in this situation right now and be completely calm, collected, and in control. But that's how I feel right now. And it's because I know that if anything happens to me, it's my fault. And we can see that this is true by looking at the entire economy. The entire stock market is entirely crashing because the majority of people are panicking right now. So people are pulling out their money, people are closing their businesses, people are losing their jobs. And it's because most people are panicking right now. So if you don't want to be like most people, then the answer is to figure out what you're doing wrong so that you can figure out a solution. And what that means is you need to stop playing the victim card like most people are doing right now. Now, to give you an idea of how accountable I keep myself, Let's, for example, say that one of my family members back home got this very terrible illness that's going around right now. I would not look at this situation like I'm the victim. Why is this happening to me? Why is this happening to my family? No, I would look at this situation and blame myself for not doing anything to prevent it. Because in reality, I could have flown home, I could have flown my family out to a safer destination, I could have done something to protect my family, but the reality is that there are things every day that we can do in order to prevent problems and fix problems, but sometimes the chances of it happening are so low that it might make sense to take the risk, right? That's why a lot of people were not prepared for this entire job situation, because people thought the chances were so low of them losing their job that they were willing to take that risk of not preparing themselves for, losing their job and not learning any skills that teach them how to make an income for themselves if they do lose their job, and not putting themselves in a position within the company where the company can't afford to lose them, because they think the risk is so low that that would ever happen. They're willing to take their chances. And it's true, the odds are low, but the truth is if that does happen, it's still your fault for not taking those necessary precautions in the first place. So it's all about risk mitigation, and that's business, that is life. People who are good at mitigating risk, looking at risk, analyzing risk, and making the right choices when it comes to risk tend to do a lot better than those who do not know how to deal with risk. So what I want you to get out of this video is that you don't have to be the victim. You can do things to change, but in order to change, you need to look at what's going wrong, look at the decisions that you made in order to end up in that position, because where we are right now is a sum of our decisions, right? Once you start doing that, you will find out exactly what's causing your problem, and then you can do something to fix it. So some of you might think that this is a little bit extreme. I know that a lot of people I personally know tell me to take it easy. They tell me not to be so hard on myself. But the reason why I'm constantly improving and the reason why I'm able to do better every single day is because I am hard on myself. And I do tell myself that when I do something wrong, I did something wrong and that was my fault and I need to fix it. So it's by having that accountability that I'm able to solve problems and I'm able to make progress in my life. So if you are sitting at home right now, you feel like you're the victim to everything that's happening right now, instead of thinking about how you are the victim, think about the choices that you made that resulted in the problem that you're faced with right now. Because the problem is not what's happening in the world right now. The problem is that you either lost your job or you don't have any income, and there are things that you could have done in order to prevent that from happening. And even if this doesn't happen to you, this is an example. This can be used for other areas of your life. I'm just using this as an example right now because this is something that a lot of people are dealing with right now. But this applies to every area of life, right? Anywhere you think you are the victim. So what I want you guys to get out of this is that when you're faced with problems like this, there are things you can do to overcome these problems. You just need to change the way you look at them. And when you do that, you can figure out a solution. And when you have that power to figure out solutions, it will relieve a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety. And I feel like with everything that's happening right now, people are stressed, people are anxious, they don't know what's going to happen. But the truth is if you're able to change the way you look at things, you don't have to worry about what's going to happen to you. Instead, you can look at what you can do to fix it. So with that said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll see you guys in the next one.